Hi guys, Jordan from B&B Campers. Just going to go through your handover video on your Murvi Morello. So if we start under the bonnet, got your engine battery over here on the left hand side. Brake fluid attached to the servo just down the back there, which is sort of the clutch fluid as well. Power steering fluid sits in this reservoir just here at the front, and your engine oil goes in through this cap just up here at the top. Engine oil dipstick is this one just down here at the front. Your engine coolant is this one up here at the top there, and you can see there the engine's cold at the moment, and so the level is completely perfect. Your washer fluid is this one just here. Air filter sits inside this box just here on the right hand side, and you've got a few sort of fuses and relays underneath here, which are all original Fiat things, so you shouldn't have to worry about any of that for any reason. These wires, these ones just here, are all to do with the sort of power in the back end of the vehicle. So when you start the engine up, basically your engine battery goes through and charges your leisure battery in turn as well. So that's all there where it should be and how it should be. Your diesel filler cap is this one just here, and you need your ignition key to get that open. So in the cab itself, I'll just run through a few bits with you. You've got a really nice high spec cab. So you've got the 5-speed manual gearbox. Reverse, you need to lift up on this back part of the gear stick to get that over up into the top left hand side. You've then also got your hazard lights just there in the middle, fog light, and a few other bits and pieces such as your heater controls here and your air conditioning switch there. You've also got cruise control as standard on this vehicle, so that would have been fitted from brand new, and your lights work on this left hand stalk just here. You've also got your electric adjusting mirrors over here on the right hand side, and your electric adjusting windows there. You have got a reversing camera screen just there, and a single din Alpine head unit just there in the middle. There's various lights around the vehicle, which you'd have to sort of go through and decide which ones you like and which ones you don't like. They've all got their own sort of switches for which ones you do and you don't want. But yeah, all sorts of things around the van, nice sort of cool hidden features that you'll find yourself. But again, there's switches for everything basically. Some of them you turn a button on the control panel and then they'll work and things like that. So I will run through that with you in a minute. But first off, we'll just start and carry on around the outside of the van to show you the rest of the bits and pieces. So you've got your step switch, which is this one just here. So that controls the main step to get in and out of the side of the vehicle. External gas point, which is this one just here on the rear near side of the vehicle. You can open up the back door to get into the bathroom, or open up the other side of the door one way or another, however that is. Well, we'll have a little look in there in a minute. They might have actually had it shut permanently so that you can you can't get to the back of the fridge, or that you can basically, they've used the back door here to make the back of the fridge seal up properly so you don't get any of the fumes coming into the inside. Yeah, right, so carry on around the outside just for a minute. Toilet cassette locker is this one just here. If I just open that up, push both buttons in at the same time, and then that'll come out. You've got what's called a SOG unit on here, which is why you've got this part on the actual door itself. So basically when you open up the flap to allow it to come into the cassette, you'll hear a bit of a sort of a fan noise, and that's the fan pumping out the fumes to the vent outside. Your flap just here, so that needs lubricating, but we will do that. Basically just empty it out from here and hold down the little yellow button at the back there whilst you're emptying it out. Your gas flow filling point, I'll show you where your gas is. It's in the bathroom, but when you want to refill your gas flow system, the refillable system, you just basically take this cap off from here and go from there. Your external hookup point, so if you want to use your hookup, so your 240 volt power, you can go from there and use all your 240 volt sockets and things like that. And you've got this lock here, so if you wanted to like a bit of double security, once you've locked the door, you'll see that there's a little bit here, so when you close the door up and you turn this, it basically pushes something out here, and it's like a double secure lock essentially. So yeah, the weight plate here, chassis plate, is all there exactly as it should be. Right, so in the van itself, I've shown you around the cab. We'll just show you the control panel and the bits and pieces up here, because this is a little bit it's nice and simple when you get the hang of it, but it's a little bit, you know, I've got to show you through it quickly. So essentially all I've done to get it to this point is I've pressed this button here, the on and off button. When you press it, it'll come up saying checking systems. It'll count how many systems it's got powering, and it will just basically make sure it's all up to date. Once you've done that, you can look on this right hand side here. The main light switch is this one here, and you've also got a couple of other, so you can set like dimmers and things like that if you want to. Aux is power for things like ignition, so without that button on there you won't be able to light your fridge up on gas, because the ignition works by turning on the aux switch. You've got a couple of other buttons, so you've got this button up here which tells you that you've got 13.9 volts in your van battery, so that's your leisure battery. Now I would actually, that could be the, let me press it again, aux. So aux battery 13.8, aux 2 13.9. So basically you've got nearly 14 volts in your leisure and your engine battery. So what that means is, I would imagine there's a whacking great big solar panel on the roof of this, and if there's not, then you've just got a really amazing battery. But I'm pretty certain, oh actually I'll tell you that's a lie, I've got the hookup in, haven't I? So the voltage is there, so 13.7, that shows you there that your van battery is being charged up as well as your leisure. So if I press that button again, aux 1 and aux 2, that's your leisure batteries. It might just be one leisure battery, and that's your vehicle battery. So 14 volts on vehicle and leisure, so that means that your leisure battery, your hookup lead, sorry, is charging up both at the same time. So as long as you've got a hookup in, your batteries will be at a really good voltage. You then also got your pump switch, which is this one here. So when you turn that button on there, you'll have access to using your water coming through your taps. You've also got inside temperature. I don't know if it shows an outside temperature as well. No, so that just shows you your temperature inside. And that's about it really. You can see the current that's being drawn through your batteries there. But essentially the bits that you want to use when you come in here, turn it on, and then you've got your light switch on the top right and your pump switch just there. Aux is a good one to have on as well. So basically how I have it now, you'll have access to all of your lights, your sort of the ignition on your fridge, the ignition on your cooker and things like that. It'll all come to life when you turn those on there. Above that you've got your e-dispatcher, which is your heating. So if I just turn it on here, I didn't personally do your hab check on this, so I've just got to kind of work it out as well. So you've got sort of dates that you can do things on. Right, this little button down here is usually the one that turns the actual heating on. So if I just heat, I'm just trying to work this out, on. Okay, so you can set basically which day it comes on and which one it doesn't, which is cool. What day are we on now? It's Monday now, isn't it? So I probably should have been a bit better prepared for this, shouldn't I? Right, let me just go through and have a look. So basically e-dispatcher is all diesel powered, so engine, cab, that's all stuff for the front of the vehicle. Hot water. Okay, so P3, right. So on. So now if it says on there like that, We'll just leave it a minute and leave it to do its thing. After a little while, you will start to hear a bit of a clicking, a ticking noise, which, there you go. So when you go back to that home screen, I shouldn't have started pressing all the buttons. Press this little button just down here in the bottom right, and that'll essentially give you this little light down here. And then after a little while, you'll hear a bit of a ticking noise outside. And that's essentially just the diesel being pulled through the system and lighting up. Heating controls up here, just seen there that it says HW on the left and HW and heat on the right. So HW is hot water, HW heat is hot water and heating. You've got fan speed just down here, low or high. We'll leave that on high for the minute. And then basically I think you just sort of leave that to do its thing, and it will sort of start to warm the van up through these little vents down here, these little circular vents here. I will carry on looking after the video and just make sure that that's right. If it's not right, I'll do another little video just to show you this whole section here. To be honest, because I said I didn't do this video, this hab check myself, I'm not entirely confident on it, so I will go through and double check it afterwards. But if it's right what I've said, then I'll just leave it. If not, I'll do another little extra video just so you can see. You've probably seen already, but the seats in here are really cool how they work. So you basically just pull this entire thing forwards, and it can sort of turn around and do all sorts of stuff if you need it to. Not much to show you under there. So as long as you got your pump switch on, you'll be able to get your water coming out from your tap, like so. You can see there's no sort of nasty leaking or anything like that going on. You've got a submersible pump, which means that the pump will only run if you've got a tap in the upright position. So what that means is that it kind of stops any kind of possible leaks and things like that, because there's no real pressure being built up. A lot of the other taps, when they don't work on the power, with a micro switch, there's a huge amount of pressure at all the taps, and if there's any kind of lack of pressure, then it'll pretty quickly kind of leak and things like that. Whereas these are pretty much, you know, the opposite. There's no real pressure there until you pull the tap up. I've just noticed as well, I can hear the heating working outside, and there's air just about starting to come through there. So I'm assuming it's going to come through a little bit harder in a minute, just to get the thing nicely warmed up. But actually, if I just show you outside quickly, I noticed there's a little vent just down here. Not here. There you go, here. So this here is your vent for the diesel heating. And I can feel there it's nice and hot coming out from there. When they fit them from factory like this, they like to put them next to the actual exhaust itself to kind of keep it all in one place, which is handy. So I can hear that that's working now. So that must have been right what I said to you just there. So if you want it on hot water, have it over to the left. If you want it on both, I'll just switch it over to both now. And then we'll get the fan pumping through the hot air through to here. Right, so you've got all sorts of cupboards and bits and pieces for storage in here. I've just noticed as well, you have actually got a solar panel up on the roof, and it is also a duo controller. So solar panel gets power from the sun, obviously, and then your power goes not only just to your leisure battery, but actually goes to your engine battery as well. So that's, you know, I know that because you've got 6 wires in here rather than just 4. So basically, if you've got the van outside, your leisure and your engine battery will be constantly being topped up by your solar panel. Tilt and turn aerial works by literally loosening this off and then moving it as and where you need to. And you've got your trip switches just down the back here. So if you plugged a hookup cable into the van and nothing was working, nothing on 240 volt was working, have a little look in there and just double check that they're all in the upright position. A few bits and pieces behind that board over there, but that's not something you need to worry about. It's all just wiring for the rest of the vehicle basically. So yeah, that's all good. What else have we got? A couple of gas isolator taps just underneath here. So if you wanted to isolate any appliances from the gas, you can do so from there. Not that you should need to, because it's all good at the moment. I'll just show you these 2 vents down here because they're quite important. These circular vents here, just like the one that I showed you on the back there, just behind where I'm sat, are the ones where the air pumps out to, and you'll feel that straight. I mean, I can feel the warm air coming out already. But it's really important, if you're going to fill the van up with stuff before you go away, absolutely do not cover this vent here, because this is the vent where it draws the air in to the heater. So if you cover this up, the heating will stop working altogether, because there's not any air going into the actual heater itself. So yeah, just bear that in mind. The fridge, probably the next bit to show you. So it's a three-way fridge, so it means it works in three different ways. You've got two ways of using it on electric, which are these two over here, and one way of using it on gas, which is over here. But I'll show you the electric first. So if you had the engine running and you were driving the vehicle, you could use this very left-hand one over here. So when you start the engine up, that should shine up red, and basically just keep the fridge at temperature. The red one there, when your engine's running, won't get the fridge cold on its own. You need to have the fridge cold already before you start trying to use that one. So that's just something to point out. If you have a hookup cable plugged into the vehicle, like I do at the moment, you can use this one here. You see it lights up, and then you can just leave this here at 7, and essentially the element in the back of the fridge will warm up and then in turn cool the fridge down. The 240 volt one here does get the fridge cold on its own, so you can use just that if you want to. But like I said, you just need to make sure that you have the fridge cold first before you use this red one when you're driving. Right, so I'll leave this on for the minute just so you can see that's how it works. If you want to light it up on gas, slightly different. I'll just switch it off now, look, and I'll turn your igniter off. So to actually light it up on gas, a couple of ways of knowing that it's definitely lit up or not. You've got a little peephole in there, so you can actually physically see the little blue flame. But if you can't quite see it in there, it can be a little bit awkward to see. Another way to do it is turn your igniter on, and then basically just push this in around to the left. Wait for it to light up. Igniter stops. And then let go of this. So as long as this is in the gas position there, your auxiliary power is on the control panel. If this is on and it's not flashing, it means that it's definitely lit up. The only other way to double check it, or triple check it even, is to go out to the outside of the vehicle, and those two vents that I showed you on the back door there, pop your hand over the top right hand side of that vent there, and you'll feel nice warm air coming out through there if it's lit. But I'll switch this off from the gas for now. Make sure that you turn that igniter switch off there when you're finished, and I'll switch this power switch off here. So that's the fridge. Just check. Not really anything to show you in there. Or there even. So that's all just a huge amount of storage underneath there. You've got a 4-burner hob, which has all got its own ignition, which works off this switch just here for the 4 burners. And you've also got a grill and oven underneath that, which works by pushing in and round to the right to light the grill up, just like that. And then right down the back, in and round to the left to light the oven up, just like that. So you can let go of it there and it will stay lit. Turn it off just by going back to the middle. That's your oven and grill. And like I said to you, the ignition on the 4 burners is this one just here. So the bathroom is a bit of a strange design, but it's actually quite good actually. I mean, obviously these vans don't give you a huge amount of space anyway, but they've done really sort of quite a cool design to get it all in and sort of you know, as it should be. Your gas locker is this one just inside here, and so you've got space for 2 of these bottles if you wanted them. You've got a little bulkhead regulator over here, so you don't have to worry about any of that. That's all just for our testing. But basically all you need to know is that you need to turn the gas bottle on via that little knob there. Anti-clockwise around to the left turns the bottle on, and clockwise around to the right turns the bottle off. You need to make sure you turn the bottle off before you start driving. And yeah, that's basically where the gas comes in from when you fill it up from the external point, which I showed you. So yeah, make sure you switch that off before you start driving. It's all nicely strapped together at the moment, and if, like I said, if you wanted to have another bottle in there, you have got plenty of space for it. But that's up to you. I'm going to leave it on just for a minute. Your toilet is here. It's all. I'm not going to show you it working because I've got the cassette half out at the moment. But basically, you just got this switch at the back here, which actually pumps the water around. And then, like I said, when you open up that flap, you'll get the fan noise going from the outside, drawing those bad fumes out through the SOG vent. There's probably another switch for the lights in the bathroom. But yeah, all the taps around the vehicle all work in the exact same way. I won't show you the shower because I'll get soaking wet, but that's that. I'll leave that open just so I don't forget to turn it off when I'm finished. But what else have we got? Is there anything else? So show me the control panel and the e-dispatcher controls. Step switch is that one just there. Loads and loads of storage around the van, by the way. I mean, you probably know this, but I mean, literally so much storage. All these cupboards go so far back, they're huge. But yeah, I mean, you've bought the van. I know you probably know that already, but anyway, I really like this one. I was hoping that it wasn't going to sell and that I could take it away myself for a little while, but oh well. Right, so you've got a fire extinguisher down there just to the left of the passenger seat if you should ever need it. Ideally, I mean, I know that's where they put it from standard, but ideally that would be a little bit more easily accessible. But there you go. You know, if you want to get to that, you have to open up the passenger door there. But that's all right. You've got I'm not sure if they've passed the actual test or not, or if they're in date, but you have got a smoke alarm and carbon monoxide alarm here, and they're in a good position. That's where they need to be, really. But yeah, so I think I've shown you everything I can. If there's anything you think I've missed out or anything you want going over again, just let us know. But otherwise, I look forward to seeing you soon to collect your van. Thanks very much.